Morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I am very, very excited to have my good friend, Miss Dareika Morrison, here today joining me for our Winners Wednesday. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like it. You got a little dance going on there. Is that your Winners Wednesday dance?
It is my winning Wednesday. Yes.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I'm excited to be here, putting off some good energy, some good vibes out there for everyone watching. So just excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And you look cute as always. I'm always very jealous of your hairstyles.
You never know with me, but it will definitely be short and sassy. You can pretty much guarantee that. So
I love it. I wish I could pull that off. I got the mom bun going on here. Awesome. We've got some agents here. Actually, Sarah from New Jersey. She says good morning.
good morning.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Well, great. Well, so, before I get started in this interview, I really want to introduce you, Dareika, because you are just a phenomenal agent. You work in my hometown, which is Oklahoma City, but more so, you are what I like to call the short sale queen. I remember when Hamudi and I first got into real estate investing, it was Dareika, Dareika, Dareika. I mean, signs everywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to know who this is, right? So very blessed to know you and see your continued success. So with that said, how did you get into real estate? I mean, what made you just get into the wonderful world that we call real estate?
It's really interesting because I really had no plan to really get into real estate. I would say maybe real estate got into me. And it was because, I was at a place in my life where I felt like, the only person you really meet over a period of time is yourself, and I kept kind of meeting myself in different intervals of my life. And I had to kind of take some reflection of kind of where I was, why I had kind of arrived to that point. And beyond that, where did I see my future? Where did I see myself going?
Mm.
And so I actually just kind of decided, I decided that I wanted to change the narrative. For people that don't know me on a personal level, I was actually a young teenage mother. And so that had kind of became my stigma, it kind of became the title, so to speak, that many people that knew me felt that that was the extent of my life, that I had made it as far as I was going to make it. I was just going to be the single mom. And that was just kind of the outfit of life for me. But there was like always something in me that was just burning to become something more than that.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So that takes us back to year 2005. I was actually, as most people, working in a corporate, structure. I was working for Williams-Sonoma at a call center. And I was kind of noticing some changes within our consumer behavior. Like they were starting to buy different. We were selling like high-end cutlery and things like that. People weren't buying, they were making more returns. And I was like, something's going on. So not only did that become a point of curiosity to me, that, kind of made me start questioning my career in corporate. Where do I see myself? And so the more I began to investigate, kind of where I saw myself in the workforce, my grandmother was still trying to get me to, believe in the concept of working, just sticking with the job. You'll retire at 65 and everything will be fine. I thought, well, wait a minute. I just got you hired through our peak season at Williams-Sonoma. You're coming back out of retirement into the workforce. I don't know if that's the life I want to live. And I always say, if you adopt someone's opinion, you adopt their lifestyle. And that wasn't a lifestyle for me. So anyway, long story short, I was living paycheck to paycheck. And I had finally succumbed to the fact that, this is going to, I don't know, keep me in this cycle. Long story short, I ended up getting evicted, which was actually a good thing because I moved back in with my grandmother, and she had dabbled and dabbled in a lot of businesses, which kind of brought into, kind of a library of audio tapes and things. So I stumbled across Rich Dad Poor Dad, which kind of like my first awakening to, this whole concept of information age versus industrial age and that sort of thing. So that was kind of the first awakening that there had been a change in the workforce. And that kind of, began, opening some insight for me. And I went and started reading more content, led me to Cartoon Sheets, No Money Down program. People have probably heard about that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, that's kind of what got me to thinking about creating another vehicle that would not only allow me to change my financial position, change the narrative of the life that I had lived up until that point, but give me a different vehicle that would allow me to live a better quality of life. And that's kind of how I got into real estate. I just kind of jumped. I leaped, my parachute open, and I've been trying to land for the last 16 years, but that's how I did it. I just did it.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. And Dareika, I've known part of your story before, but just to hear it, and I really want to thank you for your transparency, because I think, people that are watching this now, or maybe the replay, they're in your same spot. We all have some life challenges and living paycheck to paycheck, and it's hard to jump from that security, right, into a job that is, for the most part, commission based. So it is a leap of faith, and it sounds like, you knew your why with your kids. So I absolutely love that. So, 16 years in the business, and, by the way, a lot of real estate agents don't last 16 years. So what has been the key to your success?
So I believe there's a lot of things, but I think what stands out the most is just being naturally curious. I am curious about everything. Why something works the way that it does, or why is the market changing in this direction versus another? Why do people behave in a particular way? Why are some people wealthy and why are some people poor? So the key to my success really is just being naturally curious. And so what that meant for me was that coming into real estate, first of all, I did not want people to know that I was like a rookie. I did want people to know that I had literally no experience. I'd never bought a home. Definitely I never sold a home. And so I just always gravitated to information. And so with that being said, it just came to me by, I don't know if it was sheer luck, or as they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I received this email invite to get on what was like this coaching opportunity called Program HR 3648. And it was basically the premise of short sales. Now, what I did not mention was that my very first transaction in real estate was a short sale.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to real estate.
Welcome. I mean, what a way to break you into the industry. I mean, that will either make you want to go forward or make you want to say, what in the world?
Run away.
So that's really kind of what kind of became the key to the success, because not only was the short sale my very first transaction, being introduced to that opportunity kind of let me know that it was important to not only be a real estate agent, but to find a niche, because when you think about real estate, a realtor, several different people come to mind. I'm sure you can think of, several.
A few.
But if you say, who does short sales, who does foreclosures, who does commercial, who does residential, who does multifamily, then you start thinking a little more narrow in terms of who's the agent that I would recommend. So I was sold on, finding this space, becoming, a specialist. And then also I was gaining insight about where the market was headed. I was extremely convinced that the information that they were providing to us was very accurate, that there was a lot of predatory lending practices that were taking place at the time. That was definitely going to create a mortgage collapse, and it was going to affect the overall economy. So I was telling realtors ahead of time, this is where the market is heading. And as they were doing, I think it was home buyer tax credits at the time, and the market was booming, no one could see the crash. Well, at this time, I'm preparing ahead of, what was to come. And that was basically for that. And like I said, had I just been the type of person that came in and just kind of went with whatever came my way, I don't know if I would have been successful. But I think the fact that I wanted to hone my craft. I wanted to prove that I deserve to be licensed and I deserve to, represent buyers and sellers, that I just constantly, sought out information to help me be more competitive in that space. So that's really what has been the key, is just staying curious and, denying myself the opportunity to master anything. I feel like every day is a daily practice and I'm always growing.
Oh my gosh, so many great nuggets here. I mean, I love how you talked about, well, first of all, I love that your first sale was a short sale, because that is like mind blowing to me. I haven't been in real estate as long as you have, but I got in 2009. So I'm like, it was better for me to get in at a difficult time, because then it became easy. So that's really interesting that you say find your niche, because that's one of the things that we coach and train on all the time, is who is your ideal client, instead of, I think a lot of real estate agents just throw something at the wall and hope that it sticks. But you really dove deep into what it was. And so I know for me, when and we have a lot of agents in our organization, but when I hear short sales, I think of Dareika, right? So, and by the way, I mean, if you guys are loving all these awesome nuggets that Dareika is sharing, go ahead and comment. If you have questions for her, go ahead and put them in the comment section. But it sounds like, well, first of all, you have quite the fan base here. I mean, I don't know if you've seen all the comments coming through. But Sarah is asking here, do you advise newer agents to get certified in short sales?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me, it is a disservice for us to not become educated in every aspect. And not to say that you will choose to handle short sales as your prominent transaction. I mean, there may be other things you may find out you don't like short sales, but I think it is necessary to at least be able to have that level of education and to be able to at least qualify the seller at that time as to whether or not you're dealing with a short sale or traditional transaction. It is very unfortunate that a lot of realtors do not take the time to invest in themselves and build skill sets, which I believe short sales is a necessary skill set for one reason, if nothing else. Short sales doesn't necessarily have to correlate with anything happening in the housing market. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Most people think, oh, there's only going to be short sales if, there's another repeat like 2008. That's not true. A short sale is someone who is dealing with a financial hardship. And in combination with that, the value of their home cannot be sold for an amount that would satisfy the mortgage. So, those two things are two key components, and that can happen in any market.
Very true. That's a great point, because I think a lot of us see those ups and downs and outside looking in, but like you said, it's on a very individual basis, which I think is really, really important. So, I know at one point you had a team and you were doing a lot of short sales. Where did you say, oh my gosh, I need to start building out a team. I need help. I need leverage.
Too little, too late. I actually waited too long to try to build a team of support around me, and it was mainly because of the type of information that has to be obtained from the homeowner in order to do a short sale. It is so personal, from obtaining financials and tax returns and bank statements and things of that nature. I was very protective of my client's privacy. And so I managed a lot of the front, middle, and back end. And then furthermore, again, I have a bit of pride in seriously in being skilled, in a particular area. And for the most part, I didn't really want people to know how I was really having a really high close ratio on my short sales. So I took longer than I should have to actually build out a team. So when I eventually tried to leverage a team, at that point, I had hired in the moment, and I didn't do a lot of qualifying and making sure that this person had the right value. First of all, the proper mindset in order to come in and be instrumental in my business. So I would say about 2016 is when I actually did hire my first admin person, and I did kind of start trying to leverage them. But honestly, it's still a work in progress. So I do have
For all of us, right?
for all of us. Maybe the question which should be more so, how do you make the wrong hire and still succeed? That probably would have been the better question.
I've done several of those too. Don't worry. You're not alone.
But at this point, I mean, now I am actually just kind of leveraging more administrative wise. So I have a transaction coordinator that handles kind of more the contract to close, so that now I can focus more on the income producing activities. But the best thing about it is that being, in the trenches has really allowed me to now be able to build and cultivate a team that feel like will be very successful, merely because this is not something that, I've adopted from a third party, or we're going to take it from a coaching program and say that this is how, the industry works, and this is how, you gain clients and build customer retention. I actually have had to make cold calls and actually, embody scripts and actually go on appointments and convert leads and, that sort of thing. But so building the team is actually something that is still a work in progress, but it definitely helps. So my advice to that would be build your team sooner rather than later.
I love that. And that really brings up a great point, because oftentimes we're looking for the hire once we're already in over our heads, right?
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
we should really, be proactive instead of reactive. Because what happens is, just as you said, when I've done it myself, when you're reactive, you're just trying to hire anybody and everybody because you don't have time to even do the due diligence. So I think that brings a great, great point for agents that may be looking to scale and leverage. So Dareika, I want to ask you, like I said, you at the top of your market, doing really great in your office. And you've now been with EXP for what is it, 4 years now? What made you make that change to EXP, back when we were still a pretty small company? Now everybody knows about EXP, but I think 4 years ago it was EXP who at that point.
It exactly was. And that's kind of how I addressed the opportunity at the time. Micah actually is so funny. She's so modest with the question, because she was actually the person who kind of courted me for 2 years, giving me the opportunity to come over to EXP. But here's the funny thing: when you've been in real estate over an extended period of time, at some point in your career, another brokerage is going to ask you to join. Okay. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was maybe 12 years in the industry. I was tired. And so I was very opposed to the idea. Well, the funny thing is that, again, I'm naturally curious. I'm always paying attention. And William Mahan, who I thought was just, an individual who was just, this guy was crushing it. If you guys don't know William, then I don't know. Well, I guess I don't know where this is being broadcast, so that maybe people don't. I feel like he's a man that needs no introduction.
Well, I think he was previously oh gosh, don't quote me on this, number 18 with Keller Williams nationwide and number 3 in Oklahoma. So yeah, definitely great individual, great family guy, great producer, great team, just all in all, great person. So
he is. And so I had the opportunity to sit down with him, and he basically pulled the veil back and said, okay, Dareika, this is how my team works. And we have this really great mastermind. And unfortunately, he never told me that on the back end, he was making this decision to move over to EXP. So like the next day or so, I want to say, I found out that William just left. And it wasn't like, William left on to pursue great opportunities. It was like a bitter decision that he had left the company. So I was like, okay, that was kind of weird, Moving forward, Jay Kinder and Michael Reese had left. And they had been my coaches and mentors through this coaching program called NAEA. So I had been coached by them for over 6 years. So anyway, when they left, I said, okay, forget this. There is something about this company that I need to pay attention to. And so at that point, I believe I allowed Micah to finally sit me down and say, look at this model and just tell me what you think, tell me if you can poke any holes in it. But more importantly than that, you asked me what was my exit strategy. And I think that was kind of the aha moment, because when you think about changing real estate brokerages, the first thing you look at is compensation plans, commission structures, how much am I going to be paying, as far as whether it's for office space, that sort of thing. That's normally the mental process.
Right.
That's why you'll miss what EXP has to offer, because EXP doesn't necessarily change the client-agent relationship. You will still be dealing with buyers and sellers the same way with EXP as you do with Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, doesn't matter. The difference is that EXP allows you multiple streams of income, and it has changed the way that agents are compensated. So when that revealed itself to me, I said, that's the EXP exposure that I missed. When I saw that part, it was really a no-brainer. As a matter of fact, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't believe that opportunity exists, and that I would have the ability to secure my family. I would be able to buy my time back. I lost a lot of time doing short sales. I became rather skilled, but I lost a lot of time. I sacrificed a lot to be available to handle those deals on my own and still keep my personal life spinning at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So EXP for me has given me not only my time back, my life back, but it's allowed me to build out an exit strategy, because I don't want to be 65 years old still unlocking doors saying, do you like the kitchen and the bathroom?
I don't think any of us do, right?
No, not me. I don't.
That's awesome. And I still remember, meeting with you. I think we came and had coffee with you in our, what at the time was our mobile command center, as I like to call it.
Yes.
And you came over pretty quickly after that. I think once you saw it, as I say the phrase, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
You can't.
That's awesome. And obviously, that we love being in business with you, and you've been absolutely phenomenal, and can't wait to see what the future holds. So with that said, that leads me into my next question is, where's Dareika headed? What are some of your future plans over the next several years? Ooh.
In this case, I would say I probably won't speak much. I will say this much. It won't be anything that I have done in the past. I believe I'm willing to go in any direction but backwards. So that does not necessarily mean that I will not continue with short sales. That is something that is very near and dear to me, just because, again, it allows me to bring closure. Most times we look at closing on a transaction. Short sales allows me to give a family closure.
Wow.
And so that will always be a part of me. In terms of where I plan on going moving forward, to be really honest with you, I am not all of that intrigued by working 16 hours a day, like I used to. So I'm definitely looking at some ways to where I can leverage my time a lot better, and not sacrifice my income as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at putting together some things that I can actually bring to the market, and hopefully that will generate interest and allow me to kind of supplement income in other ways, to where I can actually buy my time back, because life is to be enjoyed, and I don't want to trade one slave for another. I traded corporate, to come into real estate, to become self-employed. But now I'm realizing I made a pit stop too soon. I actually want to become a business owner. So I think if I can answer it that way, that's more or less where I'm headed to. It's just really being able to be further removed from the customer. I don't want to be as hands-on as I was in the past, where I felt like I had to oversee every contract, touch every file. I want to believe that I can invest in people, and that I can create a system that's duplicatable, and I can actually allow people to handle the business structure, and I can just sit back and watch other people evolve and grow into this wonderful industry.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And knowing you, I can't wait to see what you're up to. So, it's interesting, because I love, Sarah even commented here, going forward and never going backwards. Here, I'll throw up the comment again. I just think you bring on so many great points of first off, Tony Robbins, and I went to a business mastery mastermind conference a few years ago, and he said something that has always stuck with me is, are you a business owner or are you a business operator?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of times we get into real estate, as you said, to become business owners. But when you're having to touch every little thing, if your income is contingent upon your personal efforts, then you would argue that you're an operator, you're not an owner, right? So the question that I always ask real estate agents is, if you stepped away from your business today, would your business grow or die? And 99% of people would say it would die. And then I'm like, you're not an owner, you're an operator. So I love that you have identified that and realize that that's what it's going to take, leverage, in order not just to get financial freedom, because we can get that in real estate, but more importantly, time freedom and location freedom. So I think you bring some great points. With that said, if there are agents that are watching this live or maybe in the replay, or even, buyers and sellers that want to reach out to you and, potentially even learn what it takes to partner with you here at eXp Realty, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
That would be a good question. I don't know how to find me, actually. Google? No.
Phone number, email?
I'm teasing. Okay, so to reach me by phone, which I prefer, I know a lot of people prefer different alternative forms of communication, but please, I like to call. I think I'm a pretty cool chick, so you can always call me. My phone number is 405-886-4991. Or you can email me, which is dareika.morrison@exprealty.com. You can also find me on Instagram. I think I'm Next Step Realtor on there. And other taglines, sadly enough, I'm not real sure what all of them are, but I'm out there.
Maybe streamline some of those. No, I'm just kidding.
I do. I need to get like one link that kind of, gives you, kind of retargets you to every platform that I'm on. You kind of get, so many areas where you're kind of building these profiles at. It's like, I have no idea. Where I'm at.
Well, you're like me. I'm just like, just pick up the phone, or even so many people text these days. I'm like, just pick up the phone and call me, right? And just call me. I'll answer, I promise. I'll call you back.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, hey, if, agents that are, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I prefer conversation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why you're as successful as you are. And so for agents that are watching this, I would highly recommend you reach out to Dareika. She is a wealth of knowledge, and I don't want to speak for you, but if agents are looking to partner with other agents within eXp and really, learn from some of the best, as she's mentioned, she's been in the industry for 16 years. She's seen it all. Her first transaction was a short sale. So I don't think it gets much better than that. So with that said, I would recommend you reach out to Dareika. And with that said, Dareika, I know that you're busy. I really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.